It is the need of the hour to understand the role of digital technologies to do SDG-based project, and we are fortunate to have the resource person who is working in the field of service learning, connecting digital technologies. It is my pleasure to invite Mrs. Deepa, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Lady Doe College, to introduce the resource person of this session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Durga ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. I take immense pleasure to introduce the guest of honor and speaker of the hour, Dr. Jyoti Thomas, Campus Coordinator, Center for Social Action, Program Coordinator, BTech Information Technology, from School of Engineering and Technology, Christ University, Bangalore. Dr. Jyoti Thomas belongs to the Faculty of Computer Science and Engineering with 24 years of dedicated and committed academic experience. She was an accomplished athlete too during her school and college days, with many state and national records to her credits. In addition to academics and sports, Dr. Jyoti Thomas is passionate about social concerns and issues from her childhood days. Her interest towards social welfare and well-being made her to conceive and bring in the concept of service learning in day-to-day teaching. From ma'am's profile, I understand that ma'am is an innate social activist who always teaches her subjects blended with social concerns like eradication of poverty, injustice, inequality, and for women empowerment too. Her sessions will always end with a social message that motivates her students to provoke and behave in a socially responsible manner in the society. As an evident, ma'am is a recipient of Best Socially Responsible Faculty in 2018 and Tech Savvy Academicians in Higher Education across India in 2019. She is currently leading a project on development of artificial intelligence machine for sex identification of pupa and cocoon cutting to foster women empowerment in sericulture. Ma'am has also a national patent on semi-automated silkworm cocoon cutting machine. In addition, ma'am has other responsibilities also as coordinator, online exams and faculty evaluation, coordinator, holistic education development, and coordinator, service learning. So coupled with this very impressive background and introduction, I'm happy to welcome Dr. Jyoti Thomas, the Women of the Hour, for the session on Towards Sustainable Development Goals through Service Learning. Thank you, ma'am, for your acceptance and your valuable presence with us today. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Deepa, for the introduction. Hope I am audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Meantime, I will share my screen as well. Just give me a second. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, fine. Good evening, everybody. And almost we have come to the end of the day. And it is so nice to, I consider as a good opportunity to come back to Lady Doe College because I'm from Christ University. And when we think of service learning, the first name comes into the mind is Lady Doe College. Because in fact, we learn from you. You are our mentor. So we learn from you. And today we could, because of the experiences, what we gained from your institute, we could start this particular concept beautifully in our campus. All of you are familiar with the Christ University and its vision, excellence, and service. And we achieve this service, excellence, and service through the core values like faith in God, moral uprightness, love of fellow being, social responsibility, and pursuit of excellence. We have 3 campuses in Bangalore itself, apart from Delhi and Pune. The second one which you are seeing here is a Kengeri campus. I work in this particular campus, which mainly engineering, and management. Now recently we started psychology, BBA, all the courses are coming. So it is an integrated campus, we should say that. So if you look at our core values, pursuit of excellence, we have put it at the last. It is thinking that the person who achieves the above 4, then only they can achieve this pursuit of excellence. So just before reaching the excellence, the above factor is social responsibility, because most of the time in the schools or colleges we do social responsibility, some clubs or this one, thereafter we leave it. But if you look into this in our university, service learning is connected to the social responsibility core value, and this has been offered in all the disciplines of engineering. And this particular course is offered in the 6th and the 7th semester, and it is a 2-credit program. Moving further, this definition I don't need to tell you at all, because you are the pioneer in this. Why do we do service learning? What is a definition of service learning? I will just skip this. And many institute, they will understand or maybe misinterpret in such a way that we have some kind of a social responsibility wing is there, or are we doing some kind of volunteerism? Whether can we consider this as a service learning? Of course not. It is not a community service. It is not an internship. We cannot call it as an internship as well. So I strongly believe in that. Even it's not a kind of a field education. So now when you look at this, why service learning we have to do? Because our students and us faculties, we should understand that what is the importance. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because I could hear some noise in between. That's the reason I just wanted to verify. So it obviously promote all the academic skills, especially we all are academicians. So we look into this angle, how we can enhance our problem analysis skill, critical thinking, logical reason, observation, and thus how do we identify the problem. As the previous resource person mentioned, normally people will have an understanding that all this kind of work is meant for the science or commerce, where technology or money, finance is involved. I strongly believe that social science is a backbone of any of the researchers. So all these skills should be developed among ourselves, even including the faculties and the students. And it also will enhance the motivation to learn, and that learning will reach into the research. So obviously this is an experiential learning. All the service learning courses are the experiential learning. So people out of experience what they do, their learning outcome is obviously improved. So it encourages social entrepreneurship, sustainability, and civic engagement. So this is why we are doing this service learning. Now, when you talk about service learning, how we can connect this to sustainable development goal? Ultimately, what we are looking for, how we are going to contribute to the society, and that to a sustainable society. So the previous resource person, in fact, he has made my task very easy by explaining all the verticals of SDG. Because if you look under this, there are 16 verticals. Obviously, the 17th one is a partnership, and starting with the no poverty and zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, and he was talking about the clean water and sanitization. And especially you have, I understand that you have zoology, botany, and chemistry faculties are in this group. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So along with the social science, you can beautifully a project can be planned for this. And if you look into this, there is a program called WASH, WASH. Probably you might be aware of that. It is a water, sanitation, and hygiene program. Under this program, you have to understand the need of your area, and you can actually plan for a project under this clean water and sanitization. And similarly, affordable clean energy. In past, our students have actually developed a new method of generating energy, because many times we heard about either it could be in terms of solar power or a biogas energy. These are the terms which comes to our mind immediately whenever we talk about energy. So in past, what our students have done it, We have a huge basketball ground at the campus. They started generating energy while playing the basketball. So that means that when you dribble the basketball, the energy was generated. So that was a beautiful concept we found out, but that was little expensive method. Now the next set of students are working on that particular concept to come up with the low cost method of generating the energy. So these kind of things, in fact, we can look into this. Again, if you talk about the various devices and the infrastructure, especially now we being into the pandemic situations, there are a lot of demands for the COVID related equipments. So maybe you can think of, for example, like every house, we nowadays we earlier we never knew this oximeter and all. We never used it in our house. We don't keep it even. But nowadays you see that practically every house is having a oximeter. You know what is a average cost of a good oximeter? How much is the cost of a good oximeter? I underline the word good.
From 1,500 onwards, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It is costing in 1,000 to 2,000 rupees. It is required. So, can you have a proposal for constructing a low cost oximeter? There is an opportunity you can think of actually, because you have people from the physics. The very simple concept you understand how it is been. No, we are actually inserting our finger on this. Just study the what are the parameters it takes it. Combination of physics and biology, social science, you can think of a beautiful project, and it is in high demand in the market as well. Another thing nowadays, or we are literally scared to go and open or touch any of the places. If you wanted to go to the office, normally we push it like this. We don't use our hand to open the door because we are scared of our life. You can think of some of the devices which there is no direct contact to your hand, and still operate all these kind of places and the devices. And also you can, especially computer science department is here, you can think of some of the IoT devices for COVID related cases. So there are like this way you may be able to think and connect your work, because ideally what I feel that it should be an interdisciplinary project, because once you understand the problem, each part, I think this is the way you are doing it. I strongly believe in that, because from my past experience, the talk which I had with the Priscilla madam, so I understand that you also have an interdisciplinary project like that. And when you talk about innovations, see, when the students and faculties are involved in doing such kind of work, obviously that will turn into an innovations. So you might be having an incubation cell in your campus. Do you have an incubation cell?
Not yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you can think of starting when this kind of product or a services, when you devise it, you can think of starting an incubation cells where you have a tie up with the industries. So industry will just come and pick your students, or indirectly your placement also will be taken into the consideration, because we don't need to find any other people for the placement as well. So likewise, if you look into this, so many projects, because each of the things, once you do that one, we will be able to understand. So where do we give the focus? So because when we say that SDG, everybody speak about SDG, we know in nutshell, but how do we start it? This is one important. So now, just now, the previous session, in fact, you got the awareness raising of sustainable development. So the awareness is main part which is lacking in many of us and most of the institutions as well, because we may read it and we leave it. So once you get the awareness, then you need to have a follow-up in terms of training, networking, and mentoring. So once you are in a position to take it further, then you can involve into this kind of sustainable development projects and events. You can have collaborations with other organizations and the institutions as well. So once as a team you perform it, then it is very easy for us to contribute to the society or the community development. So in this regard, now how we will be thinking that, especially we being the academicians, we may think that how do we bring this? Because everybody is doing project nowadays. So what way you are different or your approach is different? So here it comes the design thinking mindset. So whenever I hear this term, I would like to share a small story with you. You can see on the left corner there is a truck. Okay, this is whenever you design thinking is basically it can provide innovative solutions to a sticky problem, and but it is not that easy because everybody will not get that kind of thinking level, and it is going outside the box is sometimes it is a real challenge. So a truck driver tried to, you can see a bridge there. He tried to pass under a very low bridge, but he failed to do that because the truck got stuck under the bridge. And that has created huge traffic in that area because everybody started shouting. So what happened? All the people gathered together in the sense that people from different profession. There are some engineers came, firefighters came, lawyers came, everybody, because all are caught up in the traffic jam. So they all came and they started giving the solution. Somebody says that, okay, you chip out the bridge because it is stuck there, you chip out the bridge little bit, then truck can come out. Somebody say that dismantle the vehicle, okay, then we can take it out because it is creating a lot of problem to the public. So if you analyze that, every person, they were giving advice or suggestion with the expertise what they have in their profession. So after some time, one young boy came there who was listening all these conversations and he understand the seriousness of the problem. And jokingly he said, "Oh, why don't you allow the air to go out of the tire?" He was just simply said. But when they tried the solution, it literally worked, and the vehicle could, ride smoothly. So this is design thinking. We need to think out of the box because we see that, okay, how it will come. Sometimes it comes spontaneously like a child. So that is what the sir also was telling, that when you ask something, if you do not hesitate, openly we say, because we all make mistakes. Nobody is perfect in the world. So we don't need to look that whether what I am saying is perfect or maybe my idea is perfect. It is not correct because if we have an open mind as to accept anything from others, so then I think it will not be a problem. So really feel that every faculty is a design thinker, so we can come into that level. So this design thinking can be put into these various phases. So normally what we do, because being academicians, we all have to publish papers that has come on our head. So what we do, that we sit in our cabin, we try to create problems. We assume that, okay, we are read it from our textbooks or maybe other media, but then we try to create the problems. Then we start working that. But in this case, design thinking, first we need to empathize. So you should understand that for whom you are designing, what matters to that particular person, what is their need. So that is very important. So once you understand their need, then you will see that what are their actual requirements. Then you define, then you are come to the problem definition, you define. So once your problem is defined, it is clarity is there, then you all the members sit together, have brainstorm, and everybody will come up with the feasible ideas. You will have for a single solution, you will have a single problem, you will have n number of solutions. So you pick up the feasible solutions, then start developing the prototype on that particular idea or the solution which is suggested. So once your prototype is ready, now you need to test it whether your prototype should be capable of working in all the circumstances. So you testing is done, you will come to know whether sometimes it may fail. So we have to do the reverse engineering again and come back to the prototype and make it so that your prototype is fit for working in all the environment or all the circumstances. That is what we normally do. So this is, if you do this way, we will be able to unknowingly that design thinking will be inculcated in us. So this is what normally we have to practice it. And especially in this particular year, we are focusing on these sub criteria like medical devices, as I mentioned that many simple devices for an oximeter, which I already mentioned it, or maybe any infection control devices. You can focus on ICT, you can focus on PPE or in the community, then power and water and food security. So these are the various avenues we can actually work, especially we being in the pandemic time. And as you mentioned that we also had conducted the e-service learning because pandemic did not stop us. We, as I mentioned earlier with the Priscilla madam, we conducted in the WebEx meeting, but this time what we have done it, because most of our students are outsiders because they all coming from different states of the country. So we have mentioned that you can pick up the solution or any particular problem from the area, their hometown, identify the problem, then they will start working on that. So that way we could do a reasonably good amount of work without disturbing the culture of the service learning in our campus. So I would like to share some of our success story. This is one thing about the sericulture, because the previous resource person also was talking about the cloth what we wear, and especially we being the ladies, we love to wear Kanjipuram sarees, because any of the auspicious time we rush to Kanjipuram to get the bulk purchase, but we do not know the difficulties happening behind this. And especially India is the second largest country in the product of sericulture and silk products, and especially Karnataka is one among the contributing majorly to this particular industry. So we had in the silkworm, the sericulture farmers, they were facing a lot of difficulties in because in sericulture, if you look into this, there are just two aspects. One is the commercial aspect, which is coming into the clothing and other products. The other part is the seed production part, because if you have a good seed, then only you will get a good product. Or the come to the production side or the industry side, it will come. So what I am talking about is the seed production side, where people are not able to produce good seed, and in order to produce this, there are a lot of manual labor was involved there. So what we have done it, our students have conducted a survey, because the problem was after while talking to the farmers, this problem was came to know. Then based on that, we have approached various organizations, especially the silk board in Karnataka. We have so many grenages are there. Grenages are nothing but these are the seed production, because you will have cocoon seed, what you the silkworm, you will see that pupa. So that seed is actually distributed from a grenages. So this survey was conducted from the computer science students, because since I being there in the computer science, and they have done the need analysis as well. All this work has been done by the CSC's computer science students. Now, once the need is done, because we have clearly defined our problem, now we have come up with our ideas. Ideate. I am just giving back to the design thinking. So in this case, we came to know that, yes, of course, there is a requirement from the mechanical engineering as well. So what we have worked together, collaborated together, and we wrote the proposal for the Department of Science and Technology. So that was sanctioned to us. And once this fund is sanctioned, we have gone to the product development. As a result, we have developed a machine. I mean, it's a kind of a semi-automatic machine, which is capable of cutting the cocoon. Because at present, what happened? All you some of you have visited. Have anybody else visited any grenages or a farmer? Have you seen any of the grenages?
Probably the zoology faculty would have.
Okay. See, normally what they do, this the silkworm cocoon, you need to cut it. I mean, you have to take out the pupa for the mating purpose. So, ma'am has rightly pointed out, this is another option for you. Also, the zoology department can go and further investigate to find out all the features and how we can take it forward also. So, normally what they do, they use the normal stainless steel blade, they will cut it. And you know that in 1 second, one person, and that shuttle is little hard enough. It is not that soft to cut it. So they need to put a lot of precautions and cut it. While cutting it, what happened many of the time, most of the time they get cut, bleeding, everything will happen. Then infection, all these things happen. So this product was designed to automate this process. So now we are not completely eliminated the employability. Of course, still we need a person. Purposely we keep it as the person to loading and unloading. The manual involvement is required. So when you have developed this machine, we have achieved these many SDG goals because it is a decent work and economic growth. If you look at this, the production now per day they are able to cut only 8,000 cocoons per day. That means 8 hours. Now what we are suggesting, we are giving that in 1 hour we are our machine is able to cut 12,000 cocoon. So obviously economy is growth is there. And similarly industry innovation and infrastructure, that is why this has gone for the patenting. And sustainability and sustainable community, because in there even including the farmers are using this product and their life has become much better. So sustainable consumption and the production and obviously life on land also has increased. So this is one success story. Similarly, we have another success story is like we developed a non-invasive glucometer, because this is one of the neighboring village. There they actually cultivate the corns, but the water what they were using it is from the Rishabhavati river. Normally in Bangalore, if you happen to visit our campus or I ask anybody in Rishabhavati river, they will not say it is a river. They say that it is a drainage. In fact, this is 14th there in Bangalore. When I came first time, this river just flows next to, I mean, 2 apartments away from my place where I stay. So people tell me that it is a drainage. I too was under the impression it is a drainage. When going for this particular project, I realized it is no more a drainage, it is a river. That river name is called Rishabhavati River. But this corn farmers, they were using actually the water from this river. And this water is highly contaminated. All the industries are polluting their all kind of chemicals to this particular river. So it was, in fact, we started analyzing the quality of the water. So this survey was conducted by social work department, because when we start understanding, because so many parameters are involved, we thought of just going for only with this crop and this problem. After reaching there, we come to know that people are having a lot of illness there. And especially when we look there, once we conducted a health camp there. From the health camp, we got a surprising statistics, because the children are more 99% of the children and that particular village is tested with the diabetics. So we understand the pain of getting the prick and getting the blood every time. So this has given a thought for us to think in a different way. Why can't we go for a some devices which doesn't prick? So that is why this non-invasive glucometer comes. So need analysis was done again with the help of basic science and humanities here, and along with the computer science department. So survey has done from the social work department, because this is all different departments are involved in this, and need analysis is done by science and the computer science department. Finally, for when it comes to the product development, predominantly ECE department, they were designing with the circuit. Computer science department, they were all the coding was taken care of by the computer department, because now if you see the picture I have put it there, in your mobile also you will get all the data. You just put the hand, but it is connected to your mobile. You can get all the data there. So your health parameter is monitored there, especially the glucose level is monitored there. And accordingly, if it will give you the indication, and whomever it was to indicate, the immediate person to be informed will be going the message also. This part was done by the computer science department. And mechanical department, see, actually it is just a small circuit and a board, but we cannot keep the LCD this way. The complete manufacturing of the casing was done in the lab of mechanical department by the students. So this was something like a wonderful experience for us. And by doing this, we could achieve SDG goals of 3, 9, and 15 again. So many parameters we can consider. Only we should have clearly distinguished how it is. Each of this is connected to this SDG, and you can take it forward, because it has gone for the mass production also now. And look, likewise, we have so many projects I have put it here. Many some of the projects you might be doing it, manufacture disposal, and we also had a smart dustbin. Especially it is installed in the campus 2 years back, and we have done it. The smart dustbin that also will generate your decomposable waste in that. So finally, it will come as a fertilizer. It will give you with all these kind of basic knowledge what we learn in physics, chemistry, and biology. Along with your social science, I told you that because social science is a backbone of any research. Without social science, we cannot start a research. That is a situation. So a social science faculty member should be so happy that you are the backbone of any of the researches, because you provide the actual requirement with the proper survey done and analysis. Then from there, actually, other disciplines are taking it forward. So there are so many projects I have just mentioned it here in this way. This is another example. This recently we have done this during the pandemic time. The students, the farmers are now able to identify the diseases in their paddy leaves just by taking a photo. So we have developed a mobile app and also a website is there. So farmer has to this, especially this is happened in Andhra Pradesh, because as I mentioned that pandemic time, we asked the students to identify the community in their hometown. So being in Anantapur side, there are many paddy field farmers were there, and they were finding this kind of problem, and it was actually going a kind of a loss because of this kind of diseases. By the time because it is a huge field, they won't be able to identify which field or whatever it is, because the farmer whatever drone facility or other imaging facilities are there, farmer likes to visit the plant physically every day. That is what I have observed from the farmers. So now they have what they do when any problem is there, they go just take a pic by using their own mobile. In that mobile, this particular app is installed. Once taken the mobile, immediately they will get that, okay, this particular leaf is having this diseases. If this is a disease, these are the remedies, how it has to come out. So this has been done it. And another one app which was created for the sign language app for the orally impaired people. So people were finding it difficult to interact with them. This has been this is actually in fact using it in one of the NGOs in Bangalore. As I mentioned earlier also with the madam, this has turned out of the necessity because during COVID time, the person who was dealing with this NGO, in fact, he expired. So he was a COVID victim. Then they were not getting a suitable person to deal with this deaf and dumb or orally impaired people. So then another lady who lost the job because of the COVID, and she was looking for the job. This has been brought to the notice of one of my students. Then she said that, okay, this is a situation. Then we have developed upon it and made as an app. Now with the help of this app, the orally impaired person will continue their daily activities. Whatever they wanted to convey, they will continue to convey in the sign language. But the other person, the layman like us, are able to clearly understand what they say. So it is connected vice versa. So this way, in the other person also will be converted into their language. So this is also a kind of it gives a lot of satisfaction when our students are doing it and how it is connected to the sustainable development. And this is another thing we have also promote. I mentioned that what is the advantage of doing sustainable development, because this also promote entrepreneurship in our among the students. So this is a live example. Probably you might have heard in this particular company is Sunbird in Madurai also, because including Madurai, they have 4 branches in South India itself. Because how it is, the dried coconut leaf is converted into straw. Because this idea basically came from an English teacher. So he came and said, then it discussed with all these multidisciplinary engineering students and faculties, develop the idea, then it has been brought to this. Now today they are able to sell it per day around 1 lakh I think straw they are selling it to other countries. So it is something like they have started, it has turned into their career, it has a profession for them, and they started this entrepreneurship. So this is like this, so many incidents will motivate we faculty to continue with the spirit and do this. And what is a research oriented output? Because when as faculties, when we do that, we also are bound to take these kind of projects in the research aspect, because every institution demands now these kind of publications, because it's all affect connected to your ranking, your accreditation process, everything. So what we believe that if we are doing it something, let us do in a more productive way. So these kind of projects can be converted into paper publications, and also it can be converted into a patent. You can see that, as I mentioned, that my that particular work has been patented. So this is there are so many research oriented outcomes. Now, how do we do that? Because institution is obviously we support, but we also look for other opportunities where our students work and our work get more visibility. So in this aspect, we have started a particular wing called Christ Site Group, Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology. That is a full form of SITE, and this is comes under the IEEE. So earlier it was IEEE is meant for only the engineers, but now that concept is completely removed. Even any other colleges also can become the member of IEEE, and especially if you look into this site, there is no registration fees is required to being the member of the site group. So we also started a site group in our university to give more emphasis on the student work and get more visibility of their work. So in this regard, we also and another benefit of starting such kind of group is we will also have a better possibility of getting the funded project. So in this regard, for our service learning project, we have received a $250 by HSC by this site group. So we also started a smart monitoring and water and hygiene program, for which around $250 were sanctioned for the students were already developed this prototype. Now we are planning to take it up in the next scale or scale up this for the commercial purpose as well. So when you look this, these are the funding opportunities. You can see that because this is applicable for all the disciplines. You can look for engineering projects in community service, but I again say that it is need not be for engineering, because if you have a project for the community service, still you can apply, because by default earlier IEEE was formed only for the engineering group. Now that has removed, that barrier has been removed, but still they continue the same name. So you will get up to $1,000 funding you can get through this. And normally they call the proposals in the month of July and month of December. Now proposals are called and the deadline is, I think, in the August it is. So if you visit the website, you will see all those things. But in order to apply that, you have to become a site member as well. That is one hurdle it is put it there. So then also you can get from a site directly $1,000 to $20,000. You can get it. You can for that, and again HSC funding projects. Then various, for the smart villages, you have so many villages that if you think for a renewable energy project in implementing in a particular village, even minimum $25,000 can be you can get it from this particular funding agency, and so on. So opportunities are there. We need to keep watching these opportunities and put it forward. That is the only thing what we can do as faculty members and motivate the students. So when students are involved in such kind of projects, they also feel, they take the pride of this, because some kind of external funding is always gives a better visibility to the student as well. So that way it motivates them. And this is the evaluation criteria. Normally we do that. As I mentioned, that 6th and 7th semester, we are offering this. In fact, the complete grading is done it in the 7th semester, final evaluation, but we start from the 6th semester as well. Each of the points, each sub-criteria is evaluated out of 25, and later it is scaled down to the mark which is shown it in here. And this is the way it works. Now, obviously, we all will think, ultimately, when we do this, what is the benefit for us? End of the day, we all think of this. So for a student, if you look at this, placement and entrepreneurship is 100% guaranteed. Because one such good project makes, as I told you, that improves the visibility of the student. Companies will come in search of the student to your campus, and entrepreneurship skills also will do. Yes, as faculty, what are we going to achieve? So when we deal with different problems, we will acquire diverse experience. And of course, that can be turned into funded projects and publication. So when you have your visibility also, indirectly you are also contributing to the society and especially to the institution. And for the institution, when you look, you have an enhanced visibility when you do all those things. And this will become the USP. In fact, it is a USP for Lady Doc College as well. With this, I will wind up. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience listening. Hope I have not taken much time. If any queries are there, you can, we'll have the session now.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, it's the time for asking questions. If you have any clarification, you can ask.
And special thanks to Dr. Priscilla for inviting me.
Thank you, Dr. Jyoti. It was actually an eye-opening experience for all of us. We talk about service learning and community-based projects, but what you do as a single person involved with student projects, you take technology to the community. So that is what we also want to do. Probably in future, we will be able to dream. We have started dreaming, and I think it needs to become a reality. So it was an eye opener for all of us how we are able to manage, because the earlier resource person, I think he was from a corporate. He's a corporate person, and now he is into funding and all that, eco consciousness and all that. But as a woman faculty dealing with students, it was a good experience to hear from you. You were really inspiring all of us. Thank you. Thank you, Jyoti.
If anybody has any doubt, we can have a small clarification session. And you also can visit a site called UNDP India. You will come to know the type of SDG projects, what they are doing it. Then you can actually correlate with your area.
You can share the link also with us, Jyoti.
1 second, I will just put it here. Yes, it is UNDP.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for inducing us to work on interdisciplinary LFE projects by providing lots of inputs. Now, I request Mrs. Sharmila, Assistant Professor of History, Edido College, to propose the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you.